Chances are you've been watching a lot of the retrospectives from New York and Washington and Pennsylvania this week, leading up to Saturday's anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. But how did West Michigan react?
News 8's Joe LaFergie is here now with some of those recollections. Joe?
Well, first there was a sense of fear, followed by action, and then resolve. So many stories about September 11th begin with pictures of the sky over Manhattan just before the attacks. It was a beautiful early fall day, nothing but blue skies and comfortable temperatures. The skies over Grand Rapids were a carbon copy that morning. At Grand Rapids City Hall, city commissioners met for a work session. Everything from the agenda on paper to the demeanor of commissioners screamed routine until someone walked in and told them to turn on the TV. The same thing was happening at offices and restaurants, classrooms and break rooms across West Michigan.
Feel for the families, and I can't even imagine if I had someone that I knew who was in Washington or New York or that type of thing.
I'm just in shock. I never thought anything of this could happen.
It's time to kick somebody's tail, find out who did it, take care of them, period.
The decision to empty the skies brought frightened travelers to places they'd never expected to be, including West Michigan.
All the planes had to land, and they didn't know what the situation was. We didn't know whether it could be hours or days.
On the streets, something we hadn't seen in generations, the Grand Rapids Press putting out an extra edition. As day turned to evening, the uncertainty continued. Lines formed at gas stations for the shortage that never came. As the sun rose on the day after, we took to talk radio to vent our frustrations over the attack.
And we need to make sure for our children now and for the future of this country, we do not let them win.
And we began to realize the local impact. Gull Lake native Bradley Van Horn died in the World Trade Center, and West Michigan native Barbara Edwards was among those killed on Flight 77 when it crashed into the Pentagon.
You always think it happens to somebody else and never realize that it could happen to us.
As the days wore on, our best began to emerge. Flag sales soared. Young men and women arrived at local military recruitment offices to sign up. But an ugly side effect also began to emerge. West Michigan clergy of all denominations gathered to express concern over potential threats and intimidation aimed at Arab Americans.
The love of God is the love of all humanity, regardless of what their denomination or what their race or ethnic group might be.
Still, many avoided the divide. By the end of the week, thousands gathered at Anabawan Park for song and prayer. As the leaves began to fall, we tried to return to some version of normal, but tensions continued. The fear that that other shoe could drop at any time. In early October, a sight few would have considered became a reality as armed National Guard troops arrived to secure the Ford Airport and airports across the country.
It's kind of scary at first to see people in camouflage and big combat boots, but it's definitely reassuring.
The fear would soon extend from the air to our mailboxes. A white powdery substance known as anthrax mailed to high-profile politicians and others created fear of just opening the mail.
We had probably 15 calls before noon yesterday, ranging from completely hysterical people to people just having questions about something they had gotten in the mail.
Yet our resolve to do something positive, something meaningful, continued. The attacks and anthrax scare made us appreciate our firefighters, police officers, even our letter carriers even more. West Michigan donated untold sums of money to the effort. Then, on a late fall day on Staten Island, a semi-truck from West Michigan pulled up to an elementary school full of some 20,000 teddy bears donated from West Michigan. Many students at that school lost someone they knew, someone they loved in the Trade Center attacks.
It makes me feel happy because with everything happening, I felt so sad, and now this cheers me up.
Just to know that people care, so it's better.
West Michigan first responders headed east to lend a hand. Tomorrow we'll talk to two of those responders and find out about their experiences.
Wow, Joe, what a nice job on that. And you took us right back to the days after those attacks.
Yeah, you can still just immediately get that feeling of that day.
Yeah, it comes back in rushes, and every time this year, I think we all think about it a little bit, but this year it's even more intense.
Yeah,
definitely. Joe LaFergie, thank you.